Hello everyone. It's not a CRZ. It's not a 11th Gen SI either. What is that? So yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. This is not a CRZ. This is not a Civic Si. This is, of course, a 2022 Hyundai Kona N. And more specifically, it's my 2022 Hyundai Kona N. So, I know some of you guys are thinking, wait, what happened to the CRZ? And also, weren't you going to be getting a 22 Si? So what happened with that? So, I'll be talking about all that in this video, as well as the reasons why I chose the Kona N over the Civic Si. And before any of you guys freak out, no, the CRZ is not gone. I still have it. I just have this car in addition to it, so don't worry, there will be other CRZ videos coming out in the future, but for now, I'm kind of focusing on the Kona. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. As many of you know, the economy is kind of still really whack right now. The car market's completely whack right now. Dealers are being absolute assholes right now. So, basically, that's what happened with the Civic Si. The dealership I managed to get my allocation from originally tried to absolutely screw me for the Civic. Mind you, the Civic is a $26,000 car. Yes, it's manual. Yes, it's an SI. It's kind of special. But dealers were really treating this SI like it was a Lamborghini and just like being really like weird about it. They were going to be making me pay almost $40,000 after markup for this $26,000 car. So I basically pulled my deposit, and then the manager got involved. It's the whole thing. Worked out a deal, and even so, I was going to be paying $37,000 for this Civic Si. So that wasn't a super good deal. I didn't feel too good about it. I didn't really want to give this dealer business. But if I wanted an Si within the year, then that was basically my only choice. So I waited months and months for a build date and was kind of getting excited for it. I had mods planned out of what I wanted to do to it, and I don't know, it would have been pretty cool. Why did I choose this over the Civic Si? Now, the things I considered were, how do I feel when looking at it? How do I feel when driving it? And how do I feel about the prospects of ownership, like future plans with it, like mods and stuff. Just like general utility and stuff like that. And then last, the financials and just like general dealership experience. So starting off with the looks, the Civic Si is a really pretty car, but the new 11th Gen is kind of infamous for being a little bit, well, a lot more subdued compared to the 10th generation. A lot of people think it looks kind of bland. Now, I do like how clean it looks, and I think it's a handsome looking car, but the problem was my particular allocation was going to be a black one, and I really didn't want a black one. I just don't like black cars in general. I feel like they're kind of hard to keep clean, especially here in Michigan. In the winter, it's going to look absolutely disgusting, and that's just really going to bother me. So, really didn't like black, but that was basically my only choice of color. If I wanted one this year. And then also, it was a sedan, and I'm more of a hatchback person. I've never even owned a sedan before. I'm just not a big fan of sedan body types. I'm more of a hatchback person, so the color and also the fact that it was a sedan, those are two big things that I really had to get over with the Civic Si. Whereas with the Kona, I really love the white color. White is probably the color I would have chose on this car to begin with, so really happy that I managed to find the white one. Also, yeah, it's technically a crossover, but the overall dimensions of this car, it's honestly more of a hatchback, and it looks more like a hatchback. I love the look of this car way more than the Si. It was not even a question. I don't even have to think about it. Just like the fender lines, like how aggressive the fenders look. This detail right here where the fender goes all the way to the front, and then there's a little air gap for the brake to cool. That's really cool. The overall face looks very cool. It looks like a race helmet or like some sort of mecha or something, which I like. The overall lines, I think, is also very, very, very pretty. The short rear overhang, I like that. The spoiler, way cooler spoiler on this. Huge spoiler with a triangular third brake light, which is very race car, very cool. Huge diffuser. It already had exhaust that I like. I already like the wheels on it. Just wasn't even a question, wasn't even a competition. Just looking at this thing, glancing at it one time, I immediately knew that I liked the look of this thing much, much more than the Honda Civic Si. So how do I feel driving it? Well, getting in the car, before I even set off, this car has a full digital dash, which the US spec Civic only has a half digital dash. So that's very cool. The gauges are also very customizable. I'll get into that in a second. The infotainment's also very nice. But overall, I like the space in here. And I love the blue stitching. Blue is kind of more my color, especially this kind of light blue. The Si has a lot of red in the interior, and while it does look cool, I'm not a really big fan of red. And that was another big thing I had to get over, was the huge red lines on the dash, the red seats, all the red stitching. That was a lot to kind of get over. The gauges are also red. Whereas this one, I really like the clean look. The interior, the dash looks very like sporty. Just like the front and just like the outside. Love the blue stitching. I love the leather. Also has a manual handbrake instead of an electronic handbrake, which is nice. It has cool little like ambient lighting on the cup holders, which is cool. The seats also have nice blue stitching on it, and the blue stitching also carries over to the rear seats, which is not something that happens on the Si. On the Si, the rear seats are basically just like complete base model afterthought. So it's cool that the whole car has a uniform look to it. And these seats, while they aren't as like race car bucket seat looking as the Si or even the other N cars like the Veloster and the Elantra N, I actually really like these seats because the seating position, being a crossover, is a little higher up, which is kind of similar to my Honda Fit that I had, which had really nice seats. These also have really nice lumbar support, and the side bolsters are kind of wide, but they're comfortable enough to not really be too tight, and these are overall very comfortable seats. The seats are also partially leather and then kind of Alcantara kind of material in the middle, whereas the Si just has straight up cloth seats. And then also it has heated seats, which the US spec Si does not have. So overall better seats, better, like, it's just more comfortable in here for me to drive, and I just like the feel of it. I love the steering wheel. I love the paddle shifters. Wait, paddle shifters? Does that mean this has a... Oh no. Is that a Prindle? So yes, unfortunately, no manual on the Kona N. It's only available with a wet dual clutch transmission, which for a lot of people is just a fancy way of saying a filthy automatic. But, hear me out. This wet dual clutch is actually really good. The response is very fast. You can see it's also down for up and up for down, which is very rally car and probably and honestly the proper way to do it. The shift knob feels very good. This overall feel of the whole thing it feels and looks very good. And again, just very nice response from this. It doesn't like leach any power from the engine. The engine still feels very responsive. I just really love this transmission, and even though it only has 2 pedals, which is kind of lame, the dual clutch in this car is actually so good that I really don't miss the manual too much. And also, worst case scenario, I still have my CRZ with my hybrid racing short shifter, so if I really feel like driving a manual again, I still have my CRZ, so it's just fine. These paddle shifters also feel very good, have a nice little click to them. They are attached to the steering wheel, so that makes it a little bit awkward sometimes to use, but overall the feel of them and the ergonomics of them are very good, so I'm honestly very happy with the transmission and drivetrain in this car. Sorry about the sun's going down as I'm filming this, but anyway, speaking of the drivetrain, this has a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that makes 276 horsepower or 286 horsepower with this red NGS button. But yes, it's a much larger engine than the 1.5 liter turbo that comes in the SI. Also makes a lot more power. The SI makes 200 horsepower, whereas this makes 276 up to 286. So that's a significant bump over the SI. The SI 0 to 60 is also only about 7 to like high 6 seconds, whereas this one will do it in 5.5 seconds. The tires on it also help a lot. It has Pirelli P0s, which are very, very sticky tires. So drivetrain, engine, tires, brakes are also amazing on this car. Just overall driving experience of this thing was so much better than the SI. Other than not having a manual transmission and also missing a sunroof, there was really not that much going for the SI at this point. On top of all that, the gauges on this car being fully digital, they're configurable. So you have Sport, you have Snow, Eco, and Normal, which is the same as Snow, or you have N, and it shows up with that cool little like fire graphic, which is cool. And you can kind of hear in the background the exhaust changes because it has like valved exhaust. I'll actually put a clip of it here. So the gauges of this thing are way more race car, just feels very, very cool. And then you of course have a really nice infotainment. You also have N mode on the infotainment, which has a lot of cool little gimmicks in it. It has like all your settings, it has launch control, just a really cool little interior. So as far as the prospects of ownership, modifying the SI versus modifying the Kona, the SI of course is going to be a lot easier with part support and like aftermarket support and stuff like that. But I think once I'm able to like lower this and kind of modify it, it's going to be a lot more unique than the SI. Right now, because of the supply shortage of SIs, it's going to be kind of hard to find SIs around, even on car meets and stuff. But Hondas are still pretty popular in my area, so I'm sure a couple are going to start popping up. What I don't see really that much in my area are Hyundai cars. So it's going to be really unique in the scene, I think, and also I think it's going to look really, really cool once it's lowered and has like aero kit and stuff on it. And just being a hatchback, I automatically, again, just like the look of this thing a lot more than the SI. So again, that was not really that much of a question. The trunk and stuff is a little bit smaller on the Kona actually, but it's still pretty decent and I really didn't mind too much. You can fold the rear seats down. I basically drive this car alone, so I could have the rear seats folded down, have a lot bigger trunk space, so that wasn't too much of an issue for me. And you just can't beat the look of a hatchback, in my opinion. So finally, as far as financials and dealership experience, so like I mentioned earlier, the dealership that I was trying to get my SI from was trying to absolutely bend me over and just completely rip me off for this car. So compared to the dealership I got this car from, so granted I did get this thing pre-owned. The previous owner put 1,400 miles on it, owned it for like 3 months and then got rid of it for some reason. So it still smells like a new car. It's still basically a new car. Technically it's a pre-owned car. But anyway, the dealership experience was much, much better buying this. The dealer let me test drive it as long as I wanted. Basically had it out for like 2 hours. They did not even complain. even buying it. They didn't try to really pull anything on me too bad. They did end up getting me with like a warranty thing at the end, but it still wasn't as bad as on the Civic. So again, wasn't too upset about it. And considering that I was going to be paying $37,000 out the door for the SI, compared to $40,000 out the door, even with the bullshit like warranties and stuff for this car, I thought it was well worth the price, considering all the benefits I get with this car, like more power, being a hatchback, just overall liking the looks of it way better. I thought even if I was buying the warranty and paying a little bit more for it, it was gonna be totally worth it, and I'm not upset about the price, and I think I got a pretty good price on this car. Overall, I'm very happy with my purchase. I've been loving this car so far. Just the way it drives, the way it looks, I just absolutely love it, and I'm really excited to start modifying it and just like putting parts on it. I'm gonna be doing lowering springs, gonna be doing an intake, gonna be doing some other stuff. Probably gonna be doing resonator delete, because even though I like the sound of the exhaust, I want it to be a little bit louder. Aero kit and stuff. So a lot planned with this car, and I'm really excited for all my future plans with it, and just it's been a wonderful time with the Kona N. So anyway, tell me if you would have made the same choice in the comments, and tell me what you guys think about the Kona N. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully I wasn't too rambly or annoying in this video. But yeah, have a nice day, and I'll see you guys later.